Thank you for stopping by the 820 show. This is the newest 820 studio episode. This is your 820. This is what I've called before your public ledger, your open journal about resilience. What also I like to call as the blockchain of resilience. Now, no, it's not about making money or touting AI or crypto altcoin, but this is about currency, the wealth in your presence. So when I mention this thing about blockchain resilience, this public ledger, an open journal between you and I on the subject called resilience, meaning this transaction, this conversation cannot be duplicated or corrupted. This is intention to be genuine, sincere, original, and curious as we investigate another aspect or facet on this complicated yet also simplistic notion about this quality that all of us have within us. However, we haven't taken the time to unearth or uncover, recover, discover that quality that was input into us all since birth. And the reason that I mention it to you is because this resilience thing, in this day and age, and definitely today, we all need to be resilient. Now, you can define it any way you want to, as it pertains to you, as it relates to your journey. I've only taken on this purpose, this mission, this message, based upon my own original experiences. Corporate, military, personal, professional. And try to put those experiences in context. Not because they're all glowing successes. Not because they make me $1 billion. Not because I'm sitting on a high mountain with a chalet and a valet and a loft and a fleet of cars. No. I'm just a regular person who was afforded a lot of graces that I certainly did not earn. Yet, here I am, 6 decades into this journey. And really only recently, literally in just 3 years or so, finding a way to produce and present a voice on a subject that is not new. I'm sure there are millions out there, maybe even billions, who have discussed in their culture, in their religion, in their history about something like resilience. Some call it grit. Some call it value. Some call it tradition. Some call it culture. But whatever they have described this similar notion today or recently over the past 3 or 4 years, maybe even 10 years or 15 years, when the book came out from me called Resilience, The Beauty of Presence. Still, it was new to me to come to that, I won't say epiphany, but maybe just a perspective that I hadn't had before, to take these exposures, these opportunities to grow into an awareness beyond me, yet from this humble perspective. I don't have everything that I could possibly ever want, but I do have way more than I ever needed. And none of that stuff or experiences or graces or constants did I ever create for myself, nor did I know how to take those created resources presented not for me, but before me, before you, that will continue during this brief period of time that I have to live, experience, and produce from those resources. But those resources, those graces, those courtesies of life will continue beyond me, beyond you. So trying to put this in, or taking a complicated or complex topic like resilience or management or leadership, and putting some structure around those topics for you to to consider altering or adjusting your former perspective on those subjects, those topics. Or maybe you never ever thought about diving into a discussion or conversation about resilience. I don't know. But I know for me, it became crystal clear that that was something I needed to put some structure around, process, models, definitions, and try to compress it, not into 10 or 20 tomes or volumes on the subject, although it probably would take that to try and encompass the depth and breadth of that topic. For me, I don't have all that research or personal library to tap into. Maybe one day, as I get more into a more robust and deeper discussions in audio, and maybe even into video, or maybe even live streaming on YouTube. I don't know yet. But this is a process and a progress in development. As I've mentioned to you before, and maybe if this is your first time hearing me on this subject, every topic, including the book itself on resilience, I do not offer, or do I even have an offering that speaks towards a solution. I have only questions that are intended to elicit from me and from you what does drive you. And that is the essence and essential question about this topic called resilience. So today, there's no defined subject or title for today. Let's just call it an update to today's newness, an update to today's nowness. This is something that is urgent but critical to maintain our focus on resilience. Stay present, stay current. Wherever you find yourself today, remember to tell yourself, tell one other person, you know